In gaming, repeatedly crouching when you first see someone is a sign of friendship, but repeatedly crouching after you killed them is a sign of disrespect. Two-handing your sword and spamming block on Soulsborne games. Kinda like spanking can be either or a punishment. Players are given very few ways of communicating in many games, so you make do with the options you have. In TF2, there's a ton of taunts. Taunting at a living person when in a fight is generally like a white flag, a sign of peace. Taunting at a person when they're dead and they see a screenshot of you in their death cam, however, is like the ultimate finger. Particularly if you have the taunt that lets you laugh uproariously. PUBG. This was true. Was fun to run into another solo in quads, crouch at each other and respect each other's distance. Same could be said about taunts emotes in games like Team Fortress 2. You're basically swinging your around a dead corpse. Whereas in life, killing someone is widely seen as disrespectful regardless of what you do after. In Minecraft you crouch when being friendly to someone, being exited about something. You crouch multiple times fast when dancing. Jump and crouch randomly to not fall off a ledge. To not show your name tag. To stop getting damage on magma blocks. To stop bouncing on slime blocks. When you someone, laughing at someone when they tell a joke is a sign of friendship. Laughing at someone when they hurt themselves is a sign of disrespect. Never thought about S like an instinct. Till I never understood the friendly ducking thing and thought people were preemptively taunting me in games. The duality of the teabag has been the driving force of world conflict since the 1800s. Those of you who play FPS games know of the wiggle. True. I always crouch in lobbies of shooting games with the enemies and hoping I'll make some friends. It works sometimes. I've got some awesome enemy friends with whom I team daily. Same with, according to my attorney, lies. I've seen people repeatedly crouch when first meeting others to lull them into a false sense of safety only to them shortly after. I dip my balls to you sir and my balls on your face. If you could be any animal from the sea, what would you be? Orca, I guess. A narwhal. The unicorn of the sea. Megalodon. I'm not going to live in the sea and then be bottom of the food chain. Whatever animal that could be forklift certified. Moorman. Dolphin. They get high, have for fun. What's not to like? An octopus FS. Plankton. Tavakita. The name eludes me, but one of those really looking little sharks. Kraken. A colossal squid. Blue whale. An orca. Majestic, intelligent, and an apex hunter. Almost no human or animal will try to purposely eat you, which is A+, and any person who does you is immediately despised by many. Great white. Would love to be flying out the water chomping seals in half or just scare TF out of some surfers for fun. Cuttlefish. An otter. Sea cucumber. Do extinct creatures count? Plesiosaur. Otherwise, an orca would be pretty cool. Turtle. Giant squid. Elephant seal. I already got the looks for it. Goose. Anglerfish. One of those giant squid. I'm guessing they are quite smart and live for a long time if you make it to adulthood. Crab. Cuttlefish. If money isn't the meaning of life, then what is? Being forklift certified. Life has no meaning. Each of us has meaning and we bring it to life. It is a waste to be asking the question when you are the answer. Joseph Campbell. Oh, I know this. 142. The search for meaning. We each give our own lives meaning. If you want the meaning of yours to be money, well, you're free to be as shallow as you wish. Does that mean if you don't have money you don't have life? Personally, I think relationships that could be friends, family, lovers. Fried chicken. In one sense it's to pass on our genetic material to the next generation. End of. Zoom out slightly and even that is meaningless. Life has no meaning. It's a state of being. What you choose to spend it on. That's the neat part. It is. The things you do with the money. The Maslowian model of hierarchy of needs. Lol. That's the wrong question. The correct one is there a meaning of life? The answer is no. The next question should be, is that a bad thing? The answer is also no. Things don't need a meaning. You do meaningless things all the time. Enjoy your life on this rock to figure out how to be thankful for what you have regardless of what you have in the end. Petting dogs and helping people. I think the meaning of life is anything you want it to mean. Doing what makes you happy gives your life meaning. Growing in terms of skills and knowledge and helping others grow as well. Watching something you care about develop is where meaning hides. It's just like solving a puzzle. What do I do to make this work? Focus on the game you are playing and you'll at least have fun. Biologically, it would be to reproduce and raise young that can survive and pass on your genes. Eat, sleep and reproduce. Contentedness. My 42. Community, family, art. Lots of things. Definitely not money. You decide what the meaning of life is. But if you say money, I ask why? You might say for women, cars, luxury, security. That's the meaning you seek. Money is an means, not an end. It's not the meaning of life, but a tool that allows you to achieve it. As long as you didn't sell your shot at it in return for the money. Non-Americans, what is the best American food? Cajun food. Definitely the most unique American food. Curly fries. Recently came across Carl's Jr. for the first time in Istanbul airport, and the curly fries were just the best. I hate to sound like an ignorant foreigner, but a made-from-scratch mac cheese with at least 3 different cheeses plus a crispy breadcrumb crust on top is one of my favorite American dishes. I had a corn casserole and a green bean casserole at a friend's parents' house for the first time when I was 18 for Thanksgiving. That slapped. I fell in love instantly and still makes casseroles every year for Thanksgiving. I lived in China before I came to the US. I'm from Mexico and we get spoiled with our traditional cuisine, but I found the Thanksgiving dinner experience in the US incredible. Love everything: the turkey dark meat, cranberry sauce, the stuffing, mashed potatoes, salads, and the delicious pays that follow for dessert. That whole combination plus the red wine and good company is an incredible experience, hard to match. I want to thank y'all for barbecue and fried chicken. I love American breakfast food. Honestly, I think they have breakfast down pat. But holy, what I really appreciate are pizza rolls. Bless the Americans for pizza rolls. Eggs Benedict are apparently an American invention. So, as a non-American, my most vivid memory of something I ate in the US in Key West actually is a key lime pie divine. Spaniard who lives in the States for 6 years, I liked apple pie, pastrami on rice sandwiches, Tex-Mex, all the things you do with sweet potatoes, virtually any item at a Waffle House, bagels, Reuben sandwiches, chicken and waffles, cheesecake, s'mores, chocolate chip cookies, buffalo wings. I never got into peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I tried, but it wasn't for me. Anything smoked brisket, pork shoulder, chicken, turkey. I've even had smoked burgers. If seasoned well, you don't even need barbecue sauce and it is so tender and juicy. This is probably a recipe for disaster, but I'm British and growing up visiting Florida, I would love eating raw cookie dough from the refrigerator section. Are you still using cash? Why? I get cash tips at work. I'll use it for lunch. I like cash cause my bank account doesn't know it exists. It's secret money. How would I pay an escort with a credit card? I use cash for transactions I'd rather there not be a financial paper trail for. You can't snort lines of Adderall through a Dogecoin. I find it easier to control my spending if I use cash, because the government be all up in my business. Everyone should have some emergency cash. Nobody in Russia thought their bank accounts would be locked out of SWIFT, but it happened. Informal transactions. Everybody takes cash. Don't know if it's still true, but there were a couple of small restaurants in town recently that wouldn't take cards. They would take a local check, and there was an ATM in the corner. They were small enough that they didn't want to take the hit on credit card merchant fees. And local enough that people accepted it. Yes, because it's anonymous. Also, my bank card doesn't work during a power outage, but my money does. Just to buy. Credit card processors go down. Some services only accept cash. Throwing actual cash at some problems makes them disappear quicker. Less susceptible to getting information skimmed in sketchy or insecure locations. There are some transactions I don't want trails of. When I see I'm losing money, it make me spend less money. SMH. Drugs and garage sales. I'm in a better place now, but in my bad times I used cash as much as a good, for the simple reason that a 20 in your wallet will be there until you spend it, while a 20 in your bank account is there until an overdraft fee or automatic payment or whatever you forgot about hits. In the worst of the worst times, I always took out enough cash on payday to buy gas and food for the next 2 weeks. I use cash occasionally. Kids come to the door to shovel the walk, for example. My very rare purchase of lottery tickets. Tiny purchases, pack of gum, etc. I will always use cash. Yes, because I wait tables and a good chunk of people leave me cash. I love cash. Tip your servers in cash. Please. I'm in the waste management business. Drug dealers don't take cards. Cocaine and hookers. Nice try, government. Do you believe billionaires are inherently bad? Why or why not? I think hoarding resources beyond a certain point, when a lot of people don't have enough to eat, can't afford to go to the hospital, don't have a roof over their heads, is immoral. Yeah. What is that point exactly? I don't know. But $1 billion sure seems like it's well over that point. Also, the people on here caping for literal billionaires are exhausting. As someone who finds it appalling to see people on the street struggling to feed themselves, I cannot imagine having an amount of money where I can help people, without financially burdening myself. The fact that billionaires have more wealth than they could conceivably spend, and society is still crumbling around them, means they're only at it for themselves. In a world where money is a resource and many do not have enough to survive, That concentration in a single source is a misallocation of resources. Having a net worth of over $1 billion? Not on its own, it could be inheritance, windfall of incredible luck. Having it and keeping it and not making the world better with it? Absolutely. The average human lifespan is less than 30,000 days. $1 billion would be a decent annual income, every day for an entire lifetime. Do I think they are inherently evil? No. Is there a higher percentage of bad people that are billionaires? Yes. Have they lost touch with society? Absolutely. It's hard to tell what's right and wrong when you're surrounded by sycophants. We all know how Reddit feels about billionaires. Being worth $1 billion and having $1 billion in easily liquidated assets are two very different things. If you are worth $1 billion, you probably have a very large business that employs a lot of people. Having $1 billion easily accessible is just hoarding wealth that can be put to good use, such as research of diseases, employing more people and overall helping society. I think so. If you have $1 billion or more or even significantly less than that, you have magnitudes more than you could ever use or need. I don't see how you could hold on to all of that when there are so many people with next to nothing. It's hoarding money. All Scooby-Doo monsters were people in disguises, yet they were attracted to female monster disguises made by Shaggy and Scooby, because they had to stay in character. I mean, an old man who dresses up as a Victorian ghost to gain the title to an old amusement park probably doesn't have his head on straight to begin with. So what's one more kink? The Venn diagram of people who can make realistic monster costumes and people who wanna. Monsters is a circle. Dude, delete this before you break the time continuum. Haha, true. The alien chick and her dog use the same strategy on them in the one movie. Pretending to be a monster is definitely the end of the line. Can't pretend to be attracted to a female version of that monster. No, this is real though. They straight up acted like monsters in ways that make no sense when you think about the truth that it's a guy in a costume. Kinks? I'd always found that weird too, so I'm gonna go with they have a kink. Method acting. The real monster was inside them all along. Pretty sure some folks would totally be DTF if some haunted house actors came up to 'em all tarted up and looking to make mistakes. Now the ones where Scooby did the talkin'? That's a bit different. I always found it funny how when they were faced with legitimate monsters or otherworldly creatures, their responses were mild when compared to the costume wearers. They were more afraid of doofuses in alien costumes than the actual alien women because they were pretty and blue. Those two always have their priorities straight. I just have to mention this because it's bothering me, but not all of the villains were people. Some were real monsters, like Zombie Island. They were compelled by their personalities. I don't remember them making any female monster costumes to catch them, just traps that sometimes failed in chase scenes. By far the most profound shower thought posted during my years on this sub. Edit wrote prolific instead of profound. Whoops. Scooby-Doo is a dog that thinks he's human but is still attracted to other dogs. As noted by comedian Stuart Lee. Oh, Velma was never saying jinkies, she was saying kinkies this whole time. Apparently the Venn diagram of monster cosplayers and monster is a circle. Don't kink shame. What made you give up on religion? Seeing good people constantly get over, and seeing people abuse power with no repercussions. Reading the Bible. Religion. The older I got, the less it made sense, apart from a way to systematically control a group of people, get them to vote the way you want, hate the people you hate, and to get their money. The people use the religion for make people hurt and bad with others. When your questions become too advanced, and they tell you to not ask blasphemous questions. Well, I realized that I had more questions than answers, and I wanted to explore different ways of looking at the world. My faith journey has been an enjoyable one and it has given me lots of opportunities for personal growth. Plus, I'm a big fan of science and technology, so that's been my main focus lately. The people abusing their power. God's plan. Either it helps you, or really does not. Why? Thought it was a good plan to make millions of kids die from starvation, diseases, infections, injuries, etc. But hey, it's God's plan. He planned for you to suffer for no reason. My baby died. A baby that was very much wishes for and wanted. Her heart just stopped beating before she was even born. That's me in the corner, that's me in the spotlight. It sounded ridiculous since I was like 12. To know how grown adults follow it. Having it shoved down my throat until I was an adult. Logic. Constantly living in fear. Spending quite literally every living moment stressed out. Look around you. When the speaker at my parents' church started banging on about how homosexual people needed to be cured. That was the last time I ever went to a church meeting. Developing critical thinking skills. Being forced into it wasn't the worst part. It was the 2-day 10-hour ceremony and the shaving of the head that made me say, I'm eating beef. I was forced into Hindu BTW. When the people who didn't believe treated me better than those who do ever did. If you need someone looking over your shoulder to do good, You aren't good. Logic, lack of evidence, understanding human history and how religions came into place. Religious people! Is bad. That's a no bueno for me. What discontinued product would you to get back, and why? Coca-Cola with real Coke in it. McDonald's Szechuan sauce. BlackBerry 10 based phone with a physical keyboard. I use iPhone and Android today and both are still behind contact management, calendar management, and inbox management that I had 10 years ago in BlackBerry 10. McDonald's Angus Burger. Barbecue Walker's Crisps. The nicest flavor of all time, and for some reason, they stopped making them. Indigo drink. I miss its wonderful taste. Wasabi flavored Doritos. Wow, they were good. Swiss Miss Cafe Blends Mocha, my personal favorite, and caramel flavored. In packets like hot chocolate, half coffee so half CAF. I bought every box on the shelf when they discontinued it. I only have a very few left and I dole them out sparingly. Colombo garlic bread. They just disappeared. Alphabet cereal. Pepsi Blue. It came back briefly in 2021 and was just as good as I remembered it. Also, Pepsi Fire. Kind of capitalized on the Fireball whiskey fad of the time, but I enjoyed it. Although sadly, I had to give up caffeine in 2021. Reese's once had a round bite-size product. They looked like Whoppers. They called them Bites or Bits or something. They were delicious. And they were discontinued because they were a choking hazard. Yes. Somebody somewhere didn't bother chewing and got the product axed. The old Star Wars Lego sets that I was too poor to buy a few years ago, but now I can. Do they still make the sneakers with the wheels on the bottom? Mine would be the rare and forgotten Marshmallow Quick. I would bring back my favorite childhood candy, the fruit slice. It was a classic combination of sweet and tart flavors that brought me so much joy. Plus, it was a great way to satisfy my sweet tooth without feeling guilty about it. Aldi used to have awesome pudding with some brandy in it. Man, I miss that one. Sour Altoids. Hick Slimer. Ainsley Harriet's Chocolate Heaven Bars. Gucci Envy Perfume. Club Penguin. Tomato flavored ramen. That was my favorite. And Lipton Blackberry Tea. Miss that so much. In Toy Story, it must be pure agony to exist as an unassembled Lego set. May. Mrs. Potato Head doesn't appear to be in pain when she is missing an eye in the third movie. I feel like Legos would be a hive mind creature. All acting individually but coming together to form one being. Or maybe the perfect way to be a troll. Just leave yourself lying around hallways and high traffic areas. I'd think that's more like a Sporky thing. Was that his name? When you assemble the set, it creates a new, live toy. What happens when you disassemble is my question. Imagine being in a toy collector's collection. And I'm not talking about Al here either. You're just put on a shelf in a certain position and remain there for months at a time. Or just stuck in a box after finally being bought. No wonder the prospector went nuts. There is a Toy Story Tale of Horror or whatever it's called on Disney that has a Lego set disassemble and reassemble at will. I think the key issue is whether or not it's been taken out of the package, so all its parts can be together and use that assembly skill. The bigger question is, does the entire Lego set come to life or just the minifigures? Do we get an animated fire truck or animated little fireman driving a functional fire truck? Added, I'm loving all the deep Toy Story lore. Toy Story 3 with the tortilla and Toy Story 4 with Sporky really open up a lot of uncomfortable questions about how exactly the living toy thing works. The Lego philosophical conundrum: purpose or potential? Am I made to be one thing? Am I predestined to exist only in one way not determined by me? Or am I free to be whatever the imagination allows me to become? Perhaps it is not perfect, but it is free choice. What I am meant to be, or what I am free to become. Nah. Legos are actually a hive mind. Individually they have little to no sentience, but when formed into colonies they take on the aspects of their appearance. Legos are just rats, and when you assemble them, they become toy version of a rat king. The looping racetrack was an inanimate object in TS1, so I guess construct parts are not alive. Plus Fork from TS4 only became alive after he was built. I'm sorry I called the racetrack an inanimate object. Alien: what's the most dangerous terrestrial animal for a xenomorph to be born from? Maybe some large bird of prey? Butterflies. No one suspects the butterfly. Blue whale. It's giant, and since it is xenomorph DNA, bet it can walk on land. Maybe crocodiles. They already consider humans a snack to not ignore but catch on every occasion. I'm thinking animals that lean into the existing strengths of the xenomorphs. Tigers would probably be super dangerous. Big, strong, fast, and very stealthy by default. I was at the zoo recently and they had kangaroo mice, which are very small and fast. A very hard target, and if they could get behind the walls to breed, you'd be screwed. Hippo: simply put, hippos are the one wild animal responsible for the most human deaths still. They are violently aggressive, can pursue you both on land and in water, and have the endurance to keep chasing you. Many animals on Earth we consider scary can only hunt you for a brief amount of time before getting tired. Not hippos. They? You until you are dead. I'm going to say wolves would be a bad one. Cheetah. It's still a human, really. That frog that squirts blood out of its eyes, because it basically has a ranged acid attack at that point. Would a facehugger even be able to attach to some of the animals with bigger weird-shaped faces like elephants and hippos? If not, then I think something like a polar bear would probably be the most dangerous thing it can realistically facehug. A honey badger. But it probably wouldn't care. I would think a polar bear would be pretty terrifying as they are one of the few animals that actively hunt humans. An orca would be my second pick. Added intelligence and it being aquatic would be interesting. The third, if you wanted to go with prehistoric creatures, would probably be Deinonychus. Think raptors from Jurassic Park but as a xenomorph. People are forgetting that the xenomorph genome is naturally aquatic, so swimming comes naturally, plus they don't actually need to breathe. They don't have flight, so a terrestrial animal that can glide, like the flying squirrel, would be the obvious choice. By mitigating its biggest weakness, it becomes more of an apex predator than it already is. What would be the first thing you'd do if you knew the world would end tomorrow? Let her know how I feel. Then go ride my bike until it ends. Cry. Panic. Hire escort till the end. Going to the nearest beach and see the sunrise while listening to music. To just be content. Spend all the money. Complete and total hedonism. Spend time with my loved ones, including my pets. Spend all my money. Seek out every unruly, bitter elderly person that happened to use a wheelchair. I would then grease the floor around them, and would gingerly set their wheelchair with them in it on its side. Rinse and repeat. Go beach camping with my family. Not tell anyone but break half of the laws that don't involve. Snort a kilo of coke. I would open Netflix and watch my favorite series. I'd buy the biggest chocolate birthday cake I could find and eat it with the people I love. Quit my job. Spend all my money. Take off from work. Don't ask questions you don't really want the answer to. Go for a nap! And go on an adventure. Spend another 3 hours on Reddit. Contact my loved ones riding my motorcycle for the last time, the way I want, cooking my favorite meal with family, and have a happy little dinner, jam it out on the guitar with my best buds. Basically, relive all those moments that make life worth living for me. Tell all my family and friends that I love them. And blast music through my headphones. I have to listen to my favorite thing before it goes away! Your sister.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.